Hello everyone and welcome back to Master Quest. My name's Christian Buckley. This is my first playthrough of A Link to the Past. We are now approaching the end, almost, for part 10 of this playthrough.
Part 10. Part of the journey is the end,
It is. And you would think my co-host is one Tony Stark, but it is not. It is.
It is not. Not in my dreams. Being Tony Stark would kind of suck when you really get down to it. But it's just me. It's just DJ again. Hello, greetings.
How you doing, DJ?
I'm doing very well. Not going to lie, it was hard to pry me away from Animal Crossing this week to play this game. Not that I don't. I've been having a great time playing this game, doing this cast with you. It's been a time. It's been great. But it's pretty hard to pry me away from Animal Crossing today. So.
Oh, 100% I agree with you. It's been. Animal Crossing has been an obsession.
It has.
I'm not looking forward to the day Nintendo decides to reveal how many hours I have in it.
Yeah, because on the Switch activity log where it's like it'll say last played or first played 6 days ago, and like at a certain point it'll switch to your hour count, like of 2 to 5 hours or whatever it is. I'm not looking forward to that day either because I know it's coming. And I'm gonna just hop onto my Switch and be like, oh no, that's a lot of hours.
But funny enough, for the Super Nintendo play counter, I'm at around, I think, 11 hours now.
11? Have you only played this on it then, probably?
I tried Yoshi's Island.
Tried Yoshi's... Have you ever played it?
No.
No? Okay.
I've played like one Super Nintendo game.
Oh, right. I think we talked about this.
And it's Super Mario World.
Yeah. As it should be.
So, this show is about A Link to the Past, though. And we're continuing the adventure. So far, last week we left off finishing the 5th dungeon, which was the Ice Tower, maybe?
Palace. Ice Palace.
Okay. Ice Palace.
Yes.
Which was a good one. We both enjoyed that. It's your favorite dungeon.
Of course.
And last week I stumbled into Misery Mire. So I knew where I had to go at the start for this week. But before I did that, I did realize I was low on funds, and I spent like probably 20 minutes grinding some rupees so I could stock up on blues.
Nice.
But as soon as I did that, as soon as I finished that, went straight to Misery Mire, saw that I had to open...
Okay. Before we get to Misery Mire,
okay.
I have a request.
Go for it.
So I messed up a little bit last week. When I said that you still have some optional items that you're missing, but you had gotten some of the ones that I was talking about. And as soon as I played this game today, I realized that you did, because I went to go into Misery Mire and I was like, I need the Aether Medallion to like use the lightning, and that was one of the ones I was referring to, because you needed that to open the door. That was the one that was like up on Death Mountain. There is one more of those that I don't think you have, because you have Bombos, and because it's like right at the entrance to this thing, right? Pretty much, like the one where you smash down, and, like the fire goes around. You have that, right? No, you only have one medallion.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Huh. Okay, you're missing 2 medallions then.
Okay, I have.
I don't think you need. I think this is the only one that you need to get, because you need to open this dungeon. The other 2 are completely optional.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
That would make sense. I have a guess where one of them is. Do you remember a couple weeks ago I said when I got the hammer I was exploring the right side of Death Mountain and there was a dungeon there?
Yep.
Or it was the dungeon music and it said a floor level.
Yeah.
Is that one of the places there is one?
Isn't that the Tower of Hera?
Well, if you go right there.
Oh.
I stumbled.
Do you want to know something?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the last dungeon in the game.
Really? Okay.
I'm pretty sure, and I think you can't just stumble in there, and I don't think you can get past like the second room or something, but I think you can just stumble in.
Oh.
Because that's what you're describing. That's where it is, and now that you're saying that, I'm like vaguely remembering that.
It was in the light world.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because or maybe it's the second last one, and you have to. It says it's in the dark world, and then it's not. Like you have to like warp there somehow. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Maybe. It's one of the like that's straight up a dungeon. Like that's not like a place like a little like a side room that you can go to get that item. Like that's a dungeon that you went in. That's one of the last two.
Okay, well, it makes sense, I guess, because I wouldn't think they would put a medallion like within walking distance of another one, because
that wouldn't make sense.
I think it was as soon as I got the book, the book to translate glyphs with. Yeah, I remember seeing that one next to the Tower of Hera, so I went back there the same episode and got the ether medallion.
Yeah. I remember that story now that you're saying it again. And as soon as I went there, I was like, yeah, he said that he got this. I don't know what I was talking about last week.
Yeah. So it was cool seeing the, like, approaching or trying to find the entrance, seeing the centralized location, which was, like, obviously the entrance to the dungeon. And then seeing the symbol, I was like, oh, hey, I know what that is.
Yeah, nice.
So,
that's good stuff.
Yeah, that was a cool introduction.
Yeah, and it would be a little bit frustrating though if like you didn't put 2 and 2 together and like you just didn't go to the tower, like you didn't remember. Like they do place it smartly in that, like that is where that pedestal is. You are going to see it, and you're like as soon as you get that, I think it's the hook shot you need, or is it the Dark World thing? I can't remember. As soon as you get that, like you go back there usually, but if you don't, like you'll walk up to this and be like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Like, Yeah. But it is good that it kind of directs you, like a lot of things in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I think the reason it clicked for me was because they introduced the book like soon enough in relation to seeing where that thing was. Yeah,
that you would just know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So
at this point, if you saw one of those pedestals, and especially when we've been playing weekly, you'd be like, "Is what is that again? I can't." Like I could totally see someone having that response too. So.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, but luckily, we did no such thing because we're pros on this podcast.
Yeah, we're pro gamers.
Pro gamers. G Fuel sponsored.
Yeah.
So I walk into this dungeon, right?
Cool.
Vivi. Are you familiar? Are you familiar with either Kingdom Hearts 2 or Final Fantasy 9?
No.
Are you familiar?
Not into that trash.
Are you?
I'm just joking.
Are you familiar with the Black Mage from Final Fantasy games?
Yes, I've seen the little like blue guy with the yellow hat. Is that what he's like? Yeah, I've seen that spread art before.
The face/head is just black. There's yellow eyes. It's got the hat.
Yeah.
So we see his cousin in this dungeon.
Yes. Do you know what these actually are, or because they're kind of a notable Zelda enemy?
So it's the wizard guys, like the wizard.
Yes, you're very close to the name. Wizrobes.
Wizrobes. Okay.
Yeah. Cool name. I like these dudes.
Yeah, I speaking of them though, I love them in Breath of the Wild.
I can't even remember what they're like in Breath of the Wild.
They're always like walking on air, and you can get the rods from them.
Oh yeah, these guys are dope in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Wait. I'm on their like wiki, and it doesn't say Breath of the Wild as a feature, so those might be a slightly different it's the same enemy. It is like they're supposed to be the same, but it might be a different name.
So is this like Helmasaur versus Helmarock?
Yeah, it's probably one of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Wizrobes, we encounter Wizrobes here, which I like them. They're good sprites.
Yeah, they're good sprites, good enemies, fun stuff.
Yes. There are a few other, or there is one specific other enemy that I encountered walking through this dungeon, right? And I need to know what it's called, because I didn't even bother to look up the name of the thing I was referencing with them.
Yep.
I wrote down the Rise of Skywalker slugs.
Ah, yes.
What are they?
Claude? I think Claude is his name.
Okay, Claude is his name, yeah.
Why do I know this? These guys, their names in this game are called Slugulas, or Slugula? I'm not sure how I'm going to pronounce this. I think it's Slugula.
Slugula, okay.
So it's what you'd expect. Much like many of our other enemies, the Link Between Worlds model is disgusting.
Yeah.
That's the first one I see of this wiki, and every time I'm like, oh. But these guys look fine. Like they're okay.
Yeah,
they're a good slug. They're a good slug.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to not. You'd have to try to make a bad-looking slug, I think.
Yeah, like a slug's already like, you know what? This is a top tier slug. I'm gonna say that right now. I've never seen a slug that I'm like, I think it just looks good.
Sure, yeah. I'll co-sign that. Sure thing. They throw bombs, or like they vomit green bombs, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think they poop them out. Like they come out the back.
Makes sense. They're slugs. Well,
it sounds very deadly though.
Yeah.
Would not want that just hanging out. Yeah, but.
So yeah, I think other than those things, this dungeon in its introduction didn't really strike me outside of the entrance, which I did appreciate having the ether callback.
Yeah.
And it was cool in that first hallway. You had to use the hook shot to just get to the other side and like actually get to the dungeon. I liked that.
Yeah, that was cool.
But yeah, as far as everything else goes, I think it's similar to last week, where it's lacking in its overall aesthetic. I think it has a really just like solid contextualized dungeon that just works, I think.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this one? Because I do like getting, after I like set the tone with where I'm at with it, seeing how I compare to the community.
Yeah. I think this is definitely like a dungeon that kind of feels like not filler, but just like it's another one. Like not in a bad way, just I think we talked about this a lot with a lot of the dungeons. It's like this one's very forgettable. Even though while I'm doing it, I'm like, this is satisfying for the most part. I don't think the item is like super interesting or cool. When we get there, it's fine. And the boss it's fine. Like I don't love this dungeon, and I think this is a dungeon that I don't think ever comes up in fandom with regards to this game. Like the Thieves Town, Skull Woods, Ice Palace, the water one that we did, I can't remember the name of. Like those ones come up because they're like, all of them are like really different and like interesting, and some of them are bad, like Skull Woods, but some of them are really good. So like, this one is one that's just like, it passes through. No one really remembers it.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm. I definitely get that vibe from it because it doesn't have anything, I'd say, super unique about it outside of the entrance. But even at that point, like, compare it to the Desert Palace. Like, you had a similar sort of prerequisite to unlock the entrance to the dungeon.
Yeah.
And funny enough, the item used to get that dungeon open is integral to getting this dungeon open because you need that glyph book.
Yeah, that's interesting. One thing, I think the most striking part about this dungeon is not the dungeon at all. Excuse me. It's the entrance to the dungeon, not just in how you get in, but just like the environment at the time. Like it's one of the few times, like we talked about this, like this game doesn't look good when it's very basic and very just like, this is the overworld. I think this game looks awesome when it's taking swings like this, when it's like, here's like this really dark, dreary, rainy place, and there's a few enemies, but it's not like that bad. I think that part is like the most striking part of this dungeon, which is a shame that it's just the outside. You just walk up and do it. But this, I don't want to be tough on it. Like, it's a fine dungeon. I like Wiz Robes in it, so.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, I'd probably agree with you there. But like at the same time, I feel like a lot of the exterior of the dungeons we've played every week kind of fall into that trap too. Because like I'm thinking of, I forget the name of it, but like the thing that I compared to the Breath of the Wild field with all the
yeah.
Like that was really interesting, but the interior of the dungeon I think was barely related to it, and I think that might have been the water dungeon.
Yes, it was.
So
it was sort of related in the sense that it was like it was a dried up lake.
Okay.
But meh.
Yeah. So I will give Misery Mire that as a bonus because I think it like the only other place I can think of that really goes for it for the exterior of a dungeon is Skull Woods.
Yeah, and that dungeon, it's like half the dungeon is the exterior.
Yeah. So if this one is basically filler, I would have been cool if they cut Skull Woods and then just took some of that inspiration, threw that down here, sprinkled it around outside.
Yeah, that would have been good. This is like the episode 12 of a 15 season. You know, like you're just like it's here.
Yeah. I will say though,
this dungeon. Oh, you go.
I was gonna say there was a puzzle I liked.
Okay, hit me.
So, I think the top floor of the dungeon, there's a room where there are 3 push blocks and 2 torches, and you walk through the doorway between them. Then there's sort of reflected against the wall you just walk through. There are 2 torches and 6 push blocks.
Yep. And
you have to light all 4 torches across the 2 different rooms to progress.
Yeah.
And I think it was...
So wait, did you figure this out on your own, or did you talk to Sasha?
No, I figured this out on my own because...
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so because they introduce, I think on your way up, the path you take to get to that room, they introduce you to, or they remind you of lighting torches to unlock things, because there's the room with all the tiles.
Yeah.
With if you want to go north, you have to ignite all 4 torches. If you want to go south, you just can. So at first I thought I had to, like, similar to the tile issue before, just like kill a bunch of them. So I was doing that for a bit. Then I realized, let me try the torches, and that worked. So then when I progressed further down and then eventually upstairs, I saw 2 torches, and I walked through and I saw 2 more torches. I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's cool. I liked how you had to, like, manage, like, because the Wizrobes are in this room, and I don't think you can kill them. I think they're, like, infinite respawning here, because I tried to, like, kill them and just get it over with so I can move these blocks without trouble, but they just came back. So I don't know if they're infinite spawning or if I had to kill, like, a ton of them. But yeah, I liked how you had to, like, play with that and, like, try to avoid them while pushing the blocks. That was fun. So Sasha, you probably saw his little, like, beacon thing.
Yes.
In the next room. Yeah, so if you go into that room, because you did it, and did you go into that room before you lit the torches then?
After,
okay. So that's interesting, because if you go into that room before, it is just a completely narrow hallway that's like 2 spots wide, and all you can do is just walk to the very end, and there's, like, Sasha's thing, and he's just like, light the 4 torches. He just kind of tells you what to do, basically. And then you do it, then, like, you go into his room, and then you got the whole other half of the room. So that's interesting that you just did it and then walked in there and it was fine.
That actually makes a lot of sense, because
you probably did that and didn't, you just heard, like, something happen, but nothing changed, right?
Yeah, so because, like, an earthquake happened, and I was like, okay, where was that? And then I went right, and I was like, what's this empty room for? And then I saw Sasha's thing in the top left corner. I went up, and he was like, light the torches to progress. And I was like, okay, I did that.
Nice.
And then I was lost for a little bit, because I didn't realize.
Did you jump down the hole, or no?
No, I didn't realize I could, because I thought it was a death trap.
Because you wouldn't even have thought to do that, because you thought this room was always like this.
Yeah.
Like, so you never got that. You went back probably after and tried doing it again, didn't you?
No, I just went, like, through the whole dungeon again.
Okay, wow. That's funny.
Yeah, because I walked. I was like, weird that there's a pit next to just, like, a bunch of spikes. What's that about?
Yeah.
I just thought it meant death. So I was trying to navigate for a little while after that. But eventually found the big key, found the item, got the Cane of Somaria.
Yeah, Cane of Somaria.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one interesting thing about this. The most interesting thing about this item, probably. Well, the next dungeon actually uses it in a cool way, so I won't I won't say the one interesting thing.
Okay.
This dungeon doesn't use it in a very cool way. It's just like one block where you have to, like it's just, you could have just given me a key at that point. Like it's not, no, you know? But the one interesting thing about this item, the next dungeon uses it cool, and then the Ice Palace, if you remember, this is one of those, this is like kind of a sequence break, where the final puzzle of this dungeon that like everyone hates, where you have to like navigate the entire dungeon to get all the way around to push the right block down. You can just make a block and put it there and progress. You can skip that entire puzzle.
Oh, so you could have done Misery Mire first and then go back for that.
Yeah, you can just go, if you go to Misery Mire first, because there's nothing like, the Ice Palace is a blue tunic. Like you can do Misery Mire first if you want to. Like you're not gonna get stuck anywhere.
Right.
So
Dang, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you can just bypass the one of like the most frustrating puzzles in this game, according to the fandom. We had a great time with it, but according to other people, one of the hardest puzzles in the game. You can just bypass.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah.
The other cool thing about it, from my messing around with it, it has the triggered AOE almost. Yeah,
the combat style of it, it could have been used better, but it is neat that they're like, yeah, sure, make it do this thing.
Yeah, and again, DJ, going through the show, you realize probably that one of my favorite things with Zelda dungeons is a great way to implement the item for the boss.
Yeah, this one, nope.
So I discovered that there was an attack mode for this item before I got to the boss.
Because you were just messing around with it?
Yeah. And by the time I got to the boss, I was like, okay, first thing, gonna hit him with this AoE because it's like there's weird eyeballs. I'm gonna put it down near there. It's gonna explode and then get a bunch of them. Does nothing. Does not do a thing to the boss.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, this boss is... You know what? I said earlier that this boss is passable. I'm gonna go out and say this boss is probably the worst one in the game.
So...
Or at least the most forgettable, because even the bad Troll Dorm boss is at least a good memory, you know?
Yeah. What's the deal with eyeball bosses? I feel like this is the third one we've done.
Yeah.
You know?
It is. There's a lot of them. I don't know. I'm not gonna kink shame Nintendo, but it's a little weird.
Is there some weird justification for it? Are we supposed? Is just the human mind? So. Do we want to stab eyeballs? What are they? What's
maybe there's some sort of Japanese folklore around eyeball stuff, because I know Zelda's so obsessed with old Japanese folklore.
Yeah,
usually. So I wonder if that's a thing.
Because this isn't the first or only Zelda game to feature eyeballs with the aesthetic, you know? Because the Sheikah image is an eye. The Ocarina has several, especially towards the later end of the game. It's
the Lens of Truth.
Yep, and the doors that you have to shoot the eyeball with the arrow to open them.
Yeah.
There's tons of these things. But I think this is the only Zelda game, at least to memory, that I've played where a boss is just a literal eye.
Yeah, this is... It's not even subtle. All the other games, it's okay, they have a bigger eye, so you probably want to hit that. Just this is just an eye.
Right.
It's an eye with more eyes.
Yeah, this one was an eye in goop. I'm pretty sure we fought an eye in ice or something.
Yeah, there was something like that.
An eye in clouds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. I cheesed this one. There's a way of doing it where you just go in the corner. You have to go into the left corner because your sword starts on your right side when you swing it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go into the left corner and just spam it, you can just take out all the eyes. Sometimes they'll get close enough to you where they'll hit you once, but that's it. You can pretty much just spam it and they'll just all come to you and you take them all out. So
is there a way to does the boss telegraph where it's going to shoot lightning? Because I didn't pick up on a pattern.
I didn't pick up on either, and I think because when I was doing it in the left side of the screen, he just kept going down the middle, and the middle-ish, Like he like sometimes he'd go like left, sometimes he'd go like a little bit right, but it was like always pretty much dead center. So I think it might just be they don't expect you to just be running around the side like I was. They expect you to be like going all over the place trying to avoid stuff. So not a good boss.
Yeah, my approach was I just threw all my bombs to like the eye nest in the center.
Yeah. Did that take all of them out, or did it just...
It did damage to all the ones that were there.
Oh, that's good.
So by the time when they came out, it was like 2 hits each.
Oh, that's good.
So
yeah, when you're just using your sword, they take a lot of hits.
Oh, I'm sure.
And he's sending them out one by one, so it's not even like you can do the thing that you do in all other bosses in like Zelda and games and everything, where you focus on like one of their minions until you get rid of them, so you can kind of like whittle it down so it's easier when you get down, so you're not like taking them all at once. But like when he's sending them out one by one, like you're dealing with all of them till the end.
Yeah.
So.
So, yeah, like I'm with you. Pretty forgettable, pretty average, mediocre boss.
Yeah.
But we have, once again, it's time for the Maiden lore.
Yeah.
I have some questions this week.
Okay. There was a few things in this one where I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if you'll have answers then. So
probably not.
What I have written down, Ganon needed the maidens to break the seal.
Yep.
He used Aghanim as a pawn to lure the maidens to the Dark World.
Yep.
So, first question. Is Aghanim another form of Ganon, like Ganondorf versus Ganon, or is he just an ally?
I think he's just an ally.
Okay.
I don't think he's not one of those. He's another like Girhim or Vati type dude.
Okay.
Where he's just like kind of being used to a certain extent.
Zant.
Yeah, Zant's another one. Yeah.
Zant was cool, dude.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens with that though in our next few episodes for sure.
Okay. Continuing on, the maiden said, after cracking the seal, he imprisoned them.
Yeah.
So, what is it that we're stopping Ganon from doing? I thought we were trying to stop him from cracking the seal.
I think the seal that he's referring to is like the seal to get into the sacred realm and then take it over, and then we're trying to stop him from like getting in the seal to the Triforce. I think there's a lot of seals in this game. I think that's what's going on in here.
Okay, so this.
But yeah, like he's in the sacred realm, like obviously, because this is like the Dark World. So we're not trying to stop him from that.
Right.
I think the seal they're referring to is just like the seal to where the Triforce is.
Right. So the maidens aren't needed for that seal, though.
Yeah, I don't think they can break it, or maybe they can. I don't know.
So is Ganon just looking
weird.
For the Triforce, and we have to try to get him before he finds it?
I guess so. Yeah.
All right.
Or maybe the maidens can. Now that I'm thinking about this, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure the reason we're getting the maidens is so that we can go get him.
I thought we were just being good guy Link.
Yeah, that makes sense too. But I think I'm pretty sure we needed, like the Sasha said, like, oh, you need the maidens to break the seal to get to Ganon. But if Ganon's already, you know what? It's a game from 1991. We're probably missing something, but maybe we're not. Maybe this is just poorly written. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, dude. Because
yeah,
this whole time I thought we were trying to like stop him from cracking the seal. I knew we were in the corrupted sacred realm, but I thought there was still a seal. But according to this maiden, he used them for breaking the seal, and now she's in the gem, just like them all of them. So
sure,
I guess we'll find out when we find it.
Didn't they say that they couldn't break the seal with the wise men? Is that a thing?
Okay, so it said last week it was about the wise men's powers weren't strong enough, so you needed the blood of the wise men, which was the maidens, with the courage of the knights, which is Link.
Oh, okay.
So to get the Triforce, we need the Maiden's Power and Link.
That makes sense.
So that makes sense.
So why is it Ganon like coming after me?
Yeah.
You know, like this.
What is he doing? Where is he?
Yeah. Ooh. We gotta stop like pitching ideas for Breath of the Wild too, because now I'm thinking about like a Zelda game where like, Ganon's lurking all the time trying to get you, and you're not powerful enough, and so you like beat all the dungeons, like do all the stuff, and then you can just fight him. But the entire game he's like tracking you down, like Tyrant style, Mr. X style.
That would be something. That'd be very cool.
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
There's another tidbit in this this lore dump that I had. I don't know if you wrote this one down too, but there's a point where the maiden says, Ganon didn't plan on getting this far. That's why like his plan was kind of messed up. Maybe that's why like what we're talking about, like Ganon wasn't even planning on doing this. And I was like, that's a cool little like tidbit to throw in there. But Ganon, he was just like, he did not expect this to go so well, and now he's here and he doesn't know what to do.
Oh, I thought the maiden said Ganon didn't expect you to get this far.
Oh, did I miss that entirely? Maybe that's me.
So, but even still, if that's the question here,
yeah,
what was his plan?
Yeah,
because if Link's important to getting the Triforce, was he just gonna like chill there? Like he's like, hey, I linked the worlds now. Now I'm just gonna hang out.
Yeah, and even so, he's technically the same Ganon from Ocarina. So like, wouldn't he be like, yo, I'm doing this again. Might want to watch my back here. I don't know. Some dude might like. You'd think he'd at least think about it. This world's not that big. Like he knows Link exists. He's the one guy with the house that has his name on the front door.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows this guy. What are you doing, Ganon?
Yeah. So I'm sure there is some justification for why this timeless classic has fallen apart in the last hour. So if anyone listening knows, please let us know. Let us know what we got wrong, and we will cover that next week. But
sure.
Yeah, one of the weirder lore weeks, I think.
Yeah, this is the first one where like all the other ones I'm reading it, but I'm still just like, sure, whatever. This isn't a big deal. This one I'm like, there's a lot here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here.
But the maiden does close out saying that Zelda awaits in Turtle Rock.
Yes, that was a good point too.
So that is what I'm assuming is the next place and final numbered dungeon.
Final numbered dungeon. We have 2 dungeons left technically, because there's another one after this that you unlock. But this is the last one. Turtle Rock actually inspired the name for a game development studio.
That's right.
Formerly of Valve. Interesting.
Who?
They made Evolve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Turtle Rock's been in other Zelda games too. It's in Link's Awakening.
Wait, so did Turtle Rock... I thought the people that made Evolve made Left 4 Dead as well.
They did. Wow,
okay, cool.
I'm assuming that's what the name's inspired off of. A game company with that specific of a name, lets me... I feel like it's gotta be it.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Well,
I'm excited to get the Turtle Rock. I like Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it sounds like... I feel like my expectations are already too high for what it's going to be like, but it sounds cool.
Yeah.
So. But after completing the dungeon this week, you gave me guidance.
Yeah.
You told me you should go back to Link's house.
Yeah.
So I did. Link's house in the Dark World. So.
Yeah.
We ran into another Ratatouille man, running a shop, bombs, which I came here before.
Yeah.
But it was standard bombs only.
Yeah. So it's very strange how they do this, where you have to beat Ice Palace and Misery Mire, and then it unlocks the Super Bomb, which is just like, I guess it makes sense because the Super Bomb's only necessary for like getting the upgraded sword and the upgraded bow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you need the next upgraded sword, which is you can only get after the 4th dungeon. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a strange timing that they have here, and the fact that they don't like direct you at all is a little strange. But go on with what happened here.
So I got the super bomb, and this was a couple hours ago. So there's footage of this one. I got the super bomb. I walked outside, jumped off a cliff, fought.
Just stayed there.
Yep.
Or no, does it hop off with you?
No, it stayed up there.
Oh.
And I jumped down and fought one of the Cyclops guys. I forgot what the names.
Hinoxes.
Yes, the Hinoxes.
Remember these? Yeah.
So I fought one of them outside of Link's Dark World house, and I went back up to get the bomb and like see what was up, and it was gone. And I was like, that's weird. I checked my inventory, nothing. Walked back inside, and I just had to buy the bomb again, so I saved because I didn't know what I had to do. And then
before you spent all your rupees on this bomb.
Yeah, because I spent, at the top of this thing, I went from 0 to 999. I was grinding for a while.
Good thing you did, because you probably would have been screwed here if you didn't.
Yeah.
Considering you had to do this, and did you have to buy something else?
Yeah, potions.
Right.
So, in my head, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I used the super bomb to get that crack in the temple in the Dark World, the Golden Temple. Because I remember you mentioned to me when we first got to the Dark World, I was like, why can't I bomb this? And you're like, oh, you'll get a better bomb.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if there was like a certain path I had to take first or what, so I didn't do it, but you told me I could just walk there, so I did before we started recording. I went back, blew up the wall, upgraded the bow, upgraded the sword, and that is where I left off.
Yes. When you went there is a great fairy that is very different from the other fairies, and it's got some weird dialogue going on here.
Mm-hmm.
It's she's cursed, I guess, from being in the Dark World, or no, it was from Ganon's magic. She was cursed by what they say in the game. Mm-hmm. So, and then doesn't she have some other weird dialogue? You just did it. So did she have anything or no?
Yeah. So it's a larger fairy. It is a larger woman fairy, I guess, is the way to describe it. Like, yeah. But she says, like, oh, Ganon's magic left me horribly disfigured. I'm so ugly, basically. And I was like, Nintendo. Yeah. I know it's 91, but come on.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Especially because the only way they represent the fact that it's, I think the word is disfigured, is it's just a larger fairy.
Yeah, like, if you like would dig, I guess it's sprite art, so like you can't tell, but like if I don't know, it's bad. The way it is bad.
That's where it gets really weird, because it's like, Nintendo, are you? No, maybe it's localization or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting too, because with the great fairies in Breath of the Wild and I want to say Wind Waker, some of them are larger proportions.
And like Breath of the Wild like embraces it in a very like good way. Like, it's awesome how they're just like, this is just a larger woman, and like she is okay with her body. Like, it is good, especially in this game where this is like one of the few female characters that talk. It's like, this is kind of rough the way they do this.
Yeah, but I agree. It was like, yeah.
But hey, you got an upgraded sword.
Yeah, gold sword now. Yeah. So, I guess final question for me.
Yep.
I upgraded the sword to, now it is a golden blade.
Yep.
Is it still, like, where does the master sword end here? Like, what's up with that?
Where does the golden sword, I don't know. It's such a weird thing where the rest of the Zelda games from here on out like took the Master Sword with such like self-seriousness, and like they're like, it's the most precious thing ever, and like this game's like, nah, we're gonna give this to some Brock and Sindri looking dwarves, and they're gonna smash it with a hammer. We're gonna throw it in a pond, and this lady's gonna be like, I turned it gold. It's better now, I think. Yeah. They don't mess around. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird in like the context of the rest of the franchise. Like at the time, like it's just like, sure, like games have upgrade paths. Like I guess.
Yeah.
But...
And like seeing that, it was just confusing because it was like, I think I was surprised how early I guess I got the Master Sword.
Yeah.
And then very soon after that, we realized that it's not. It's like it's trash. So like,
yeah, it's not good.
It is so strange because I feel like the only time I've ever seen a Zelda game mess with the Master Sword not being as full power is... I haven't played Skyward Sword, but the stuff with Fee and like upgrading it, right? Or like inhabiting
that game's
the sword.
About the creation of the Master Sword.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
So you get some interesting things there with in terms of like its power level, and then with Breath of the Wild, its durability.
Yeah.
Which again is interesting, and as far as like the rest of the series go,
Breath of the Wild, like it's awesome how they do it because it's like withered and destroyed because it's been so long. Like that is a cool concept, and you have to go like, well, I guess the DLC makes you like go and like actually upgrade it to its full power again. Like that is cool how they do that. But yeah, it's very weird how this game it's like it kind of sucks in comparison. So
yeah, but it fits with everything else in the game as far as what you were saying with like upgrade paths and maxing out your abilities as Link, because Zelda always had RPG elements, I think, but the way it came across was through items. So here, the leveling up would be the sword, like we've gone over. So it makes sense. But definitely one of the only times I've seen the series tackle progression in this kind of way, I think.
Yeah, totally.
So, but that wraps my log for the week.
Very nice, very nice.
Since you are guiding us, you mentioned next week is Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock.
And anything else?
We are gonna go over. If you look, you can look around and like explore, because like the dungeon after this is like the end of the game. I'll spoil that. Like the dungeon after this is like where the game ends, pretty much. So that is gonna be a longer episode, probably. So I'm going to recommend you do whatever exploring, whatever like things that like the little things that you want to do. If you want to look up like some items that you maybe missed or like those kind of things, like go for it. Finish up any of the loose ends you want, and we'll go through them. I'll come prepared with like a little bit of a list, just so we can go through maybe some of the things you might have missed, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, we'll just do the dungeon and then do like a little recap before the end.
All right. Well, that sounds like a plan. So next week, prepare for Total Rock and catch up, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then I think that is... So one final question about the last dungeon.
Yeah.
Should I be expecting a good dungeon?
From my memory, the next dungeon is pretty good for the most part, I think. They're both hard, I think. I think these are both pretty difficult dungeons. I think the last one especially is pretty rough.
All right.
But yeah, I think they're fine. They're actually... It's one of those weird things with games where like I'm not sure if like the end of the game is forgettable or if I've just played the opening so many times, because like I don't remember these ones as well, the ones later in the game, which is weird. So I don't know. Maybe they are just kind of bad and forgettable. Who knows? Right. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they're all right. I don't think they're Skullwoods.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see next week how well they hold up. But DJ, as always, thank you for the journey. Thank you for guiding. And if you'd like to plug anything, if the people can find you somewhere, where can they find you?
They can find me at DJ Gillard or DJ_Gillard on Twitter. Very bad at plugging things, but there it is. You can go do that thing. Follow that. Hit the follow thing.
Very nice. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, it's at Chris N. Buckley. If you're watching the show, if you saw the gameplay of the dungeon, you're on youtube.com/joyclicks, where we have tons of content up constantly. If you are listening to us, you're on podcast services like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Pocket Casts or Stitcher or what have you. But if you can rate us, if you can review us on that platform, we would greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed the show, let us know what you think. Let us know what we got wrong about the lore.
Yeah,
Please.
it's probably all wrong.
But that's another week in the books, encroaching on the end. And I'm excited to see the conclusion of this widely beloved game. So,
very nice.
Look forward to it. But until then, as always,
all hail the Hemsworth King.